10. Okay. Hello everybody. Today we will be discussing another very important and interesting chapter, that is CSR in public sector units. We already discussed what basically is CSR, what are the different important legislations incorporated, how our country is adopting the CSR practices. In today's class, we'll discuss how these public sector units are incorporating CSR practices. Before going in detail, let us first again understand what basically is social responsibility of business. When we are talking about social responsibility of business, we are taking business as more than just an economic institution. We are talking about the changing role of the corporations in society and their influence on different social forces. The historical context in social responsibility in India ranges from the ancient times to the modern corporations which are being incorporating CSR practices now. Beforehand, as we have already discussed, CSR practices were just philanthropic, but now in every business operations that we undertake or any corporation that we take into consideration, CSR practices plays a very important and vital role. Today we'll discuss what is the role of corporations in society. When we are talking about the role of corporations, we are talking about public enterprises operating in both local and global context. We are talking about local society that provides resources. Resources incorporate what? Environment, manpower, and materials who are included in CSR practices or in CSR activities. We also talk about the global society. It provides market access and the exposure to the new technology and the business integration, because many companies are nowadays going for integration globally. So we have to take into consideration those aspects also when we are talking about CSR activities. So responsibility, the concept of social responsibility is basically the responsibility that we have towards that a corporation has towards its consumers, customers, employees who are working in the organization, the society, the environment, the government, and the businesses. The concept of social responsibility basically concentrates on the Gandhian concept of trusteeship in businesses. So the importance of fostering corporate objectives, it is basically the in providing attainment of corporate objectives that can maximize social benefit. Now we discuss about the evolution of social responsibility in India. The traditional roles of businessmen during calamities are being taken into consideration. The cultural and the ethical responsibility of businesses in India's history are being taken into consideration. There is evolution towards a structured CSR initiative now that is aligning with the modern business goals. So when we are talking about evolution of SR in India, it has evolved in a system wherein the companies or the corporates are adopting it as a business strategy. Beforehand, people were using it during the calamities or during any type of situation which is demanding fund from the people or from the corporates or from the industries. But now it has become mandatory for undertaking the businesses. Then we discuss about the public enterprises and their social role. When we are talking about public enterprises, it aims for more than just profit. That is, they must serve towards societal interest. So when we are talking about social responsibility, it includes the compliance with the laws on employment of the people, on environmental impact, on consumer protection and employee welfare. So there are different important practices that are being followed by the private and private enterprises and the ethical practices that are being followed. We take into consideration the growing expectations from where? Now, from the private companies to act in a socially responsible ways, because we get more fund from the private enterprises. For example, adoption of villages for providing immunity to the children. For example, AIDS awareness campaigns that are being conducted. For example, promotion of nutritional food content that is being provided. So there is also emphasis on social and environmental impact of business decisions. Now, when we are talking about ethics and business strategy, we find that there is an intersection between ethical behavior and corporate strategy. The societal expectations on issues, there is societal expectations on issues like consumerism, environmental protection, and health and safety impact business decisions. The constraints and opportunities are created by these societal factors on strategy formulation. There are different important examples that we can cite on ethical corporate behavior. That is, first important ethical behavior we can discuss about the cigarette manufacturing companies are reducing nicotine and tar in the cigarettes. The food processors are reducing preservatives which is harmful for health and are using natural or you may say that promoting natural flavors in the food so that it will keep the person healthy and it will help in the metabolism system of the individual who is consuming it. The corporate initiatives in public health, environmental sustainability and community development. Next important example can be the social and the ethical constraints on the strategy. Next is how ethical obligations and societal values constrain or influence the strategy, because it is the society to whom we are giving, it is the society from whom we are gaining. So there is importance of aligning business practices with the societal expectations such that we can ensure the sustainability and growth of the businesses. So in general, it is telling that when we are incorporating our ethics into business strategy, we are finding out the point that business strategies are aligned with the business strategies are responsible or business practices are acceptable because every individual who is working in the organization or every business practices, if it is attaching with the society, it is getting from the society. So in order to gain the growth or in order to go for sustainability of businesses, this alignment has to be undertaken. Next is corporate citizenship and global social responsibility. We discuss here on the role of corporations as the global citizens. We discuss about the importance of integrating the global perspectives and ethical considerations into the business operations. We also discuss here on the impact of international standards. What are the international standards? Like say we have the SA 8000, ISO, etc. on the business strategies, such that we are adopting a norm, we are adopting a standard which is also helping in strengthening our business. So to conclude, we are rededicating our business to social responsibility in the modern context now. Social responsibility is considered as a key for the long-term business sustainability and growth. And it is basically in the democratic welfare state like India. The future directions is aiming at increasing the importance of transparency in the businesses, undertaking ethical leadership and undergoing community engagement program. So when we are talking about social responsibility, we are talking about how the corporate should align themselves with the societal problems or with the society, such that the society would recognize them as and their businesses, and both the community or both the society and the businesses can go hand in hand, which will in general or in turn bring about benefit towards the society and the business at large. Now, there are different important strategies that we can discuss on social responsibility. Basically, we discuss about the four important categories of social responsibility. The first one is social opposition. What is social opposition? When we are undertaking any type of activities or societal activities, or when we are, say, suppose we are taking one village for grooming them, for grooming their children's, or grooming the underprivileged, then what will happen? Obviously, there will be opposition from the community. So what we do when we are going for social opposition, there is minimal engagement with social issues. There is focus on maximizing the profit, and there is no concern for societal impact. Next important category of business responses is the social obligation, wherein we are discussing on the compliance of it with the laws and the basic ethical standards. There is little proactive engagement with the social issues. When we discuss about social responses, we discuss about how the business is responding to the social demands and the issues as they arise. We are addressing the concerns like, say, we have the environmental impact, we have the employee welfare, etc. Next, when we discuss about social contribution, we are discussing about active contribution to societal well-being. So the firms, they take on the leadership roles in the social responsibility initiatives, such that the businesses can be undertaken in a flexible, in a smooth manner. There are different important common characteristics of socially responsible firms, which we'll be discussing. The first one is, when we are talking about society, everyone can't do that. These are basically the people who are into the business and who has a vision. So this basically concept or this basically characteristics is of the leader. So they are called as the visionary founders. So the firms founded by a far-sighted individual sets a strong moral tone that I have to undertake the business, but not at the cost of hampering the society, but taking into consideration the welfare of the society, taking into consideration the benefit of the society, looking after the people around, and then undertaking the business. So when we are talking about the characteristics of socially responsible firms, first and very important is the visionary founders. Second is, there is focus on quality. That is, they are committed, the firms are committed to producing high quality goods and services, often for the niche markets. Next important characteristic of a socially responsible firm is the unique public image. That is, promoting their commitment to quality and using unconventional methods. Another important characteristics of a socially responsible firm is the decentralized management. What do you mean by decentralized? We are not going for managing the things in a centralized manner. If we go on managing the things in a centralized manner, things will not move. So when we are going for this decentralization, there is emphasis on self-management and there is decentralized decision making, wherein people are being given the chance to take their own decisions at their own level, which might again involve different important levels of the people who are working in the organization for different activities or for different tasks. Next important characteristics is what is the extra knowledge or extra talent that you have. That is, we need to bring in some outside talent for the fresh perspectives and expertise. We can't go for taking the people who are already old, but they might not be having requisite skills or requisite talents which are being adopted now in the industries. So for that, what we do, we go for hiring the people from outside with good knowledge, with good skills, with good talent, so that they can implement their knowledge, their skills, their talent into our businesses. And when we are talking about business, we are also talking about the CSR aspect. Next is we have the employee participation. When we are going for employee participation, we are encouraging employees to participate in the decision making process and the firm's mission. Next important characteristics of again the social responsibility socially responsible corporates or companies is fair compensation and benefits is to be provided to the employees, because if fairness won't be maintained, there will be difference of opinion among the people. Differences may arise among the people. So if for a particular work, a particular individual is getting a particular payment, that payment has to be also taken into consideration for the other employee who is also working for that many hours. So if there is fairness maintained, then the disturbance will be less. So another important characteristics of a socially responsible business is offering and another very important thing we have to take into consideration, that we can't go for providing them the salary which an individual after accepting is very less to survive his livelihood, because with the cost of living index increasing, the salaries need to be improved. So what it is telling now, the company should offer competitive salaries and benefit packages that exceeds the industry standards, so that people get the benefit of enjoying good environment, good people, and they can carry forward with their work in ease. Next important characteristics is the democratic work culture. When I talk about democratic, I talk about taking the people along. Now there are three types of culture that can be maintained. One is autocratic culture, another one is the democratic, another one is the laissez-faire. And here in autocratic, people are not taken into consideration. But when we are talking about socially responsible business or organizations, we have to take into consideration a people-oriented culture where there won't be with no executive perks, and it is promoting equality. That has to be again kept in mind. Next important characteristics of a socially responsible organization or business is the customer feedback. What is customer feedback? Now we have to take into consideration the point that the customer's feedback, or you may say that the customer, how they are behaving, what they are taking into consideration, what are the things they like about a product, what are the things they don't like about the product, has to be kept in our mind in order to keep our business going. So there should be active soliciting of the customer feedback on the various aspects of the business. Next important characteristics is the knowledgeable leadership. The top managers who are ruling the company should be well informed about the current events that is happening, and they should demonstrate interest on the broader societal issues. If I am not aware about the happenings around my company, it will be very difficult for me to implement any rules, regulations, strategies, whatever. So the leader who is leading the organization should be well informed about the current events, and it should demonstrate interest in broader societal issues, so that the society again can contribute towards its businesses. Next important characteristics, the company should go for, the organization should go for its contributions which is philanthropic in nature. That is, the companies or the firm should regularly offer donations in cash or services to the people and to the communities who are in need. So they should regularly offer donations such that people who are needy can make use of it and can live happily. And that is very, very important in order to keep your business going. Next is the company should actively involve in the community engagement program. That is, the businesses take an active role in the operations of their local communities and they contribute towards the social well-being. So in this aspect, another very important characteristic, another very important element of a socially responsible business is the ethical partnership. When we are talking about the ethical partnership, we are discussing the firms that are dealing with like-minded businesses and are encouraging the employees to maintain ethical standards in business dealings. Because when there will be ethical partnership, both the parties who are involved can contribute positively towards the society, thus maintaining each one's business standard. So when we are talking about ethical partnership, we discuss on the point that the firm deals with like-minded businesses and they encourage the employees to maintain ethical standards in business dealings. Last important characteristic of a socially responsible business is it is future oriented with respect for the past. When we are talking about future oriented, we are talking about the fact that we are constantly looking to the future while paying attention to the historical values and relations. So when we are talking about anything that we are practicing now, it is the result of the practices that has been followed since ages. So we have to take into consideration the point that if at all we are undertaking any type of development or business activities, we have to take into consideration or we have to pay attention to our historical values and relations from which the future lessons are being originated. So we have to constantly have be vigilant on whatever things are happening now, what is going to happen in the future, without forgetting the point that historical values and lessons also plays a vital role in the function. So when we are talking about social responsibility of firms, what is the impact it is having? That we will be discussing now. So when we are talking about impact, we are talking about what will be the impact of undertaking or undergoing so many exercises, that you have to be socially responsible, you have to look after the society, you have to look after the community, you have to pay the poor, you have to pay the needy. So what is the benefit? So how socially responsible firms are being benefited? So when we are talking about social responsibility of business, we are talking on the point that business is responsible or business should be responsible and society should accept or society should get what it is expecting from the organization. So what will happen? People will understand what the company has done for them and it will thus increase their reputation. So when we are talking about social responsibility of business, one of the major important benefit is it helps in enhancing the brand reputation of the company. It also helps in improving the employee satisfaction and retention, because when we are talking about say fair wages or when we are talking about providing them the good amount or when providing the good facilities, we are thinking about the employees. We are thinking ourselves from the employees point of view, what benefits they should get so that they can contribute positively towards the organization. So one of another important benefit of the socially responsible firm is there is improved employee satisfaction and retention. There is also stronger customer loyalty and trust. So through social responsibility, there is a stronger customer loyalty and trust because the customer also understand that you are true to your businesses in the activities that you undertake. There is also long term sustainability and growth, because when you give to the society, society also gives back to you, as I've already said. So there is long term sustainability of the business, and growth take place in a very fast manner. There are different important companies who are offering different types, or who are going for different types of activities, such that they can be considered as the socially responsible companies. So there are these include, for example, we have the Patagonia. These are going for environmental activism and sustainable products. Tata Group, it is focusing entirely on the community development and the ethical leadership. Next is we have the Ben and Jerry's company, that is committed to social causes and product integrity. So when we are talking about the firms that embody these characteristics, we take the example of Patagonia, wherein they are going for environmental activism. Suppose any individual or any organization is creating any havoc or any problem to the environment, they stand over there, or they act against it, and they go for producing sustainable products. In the same manner, there are different important other companies, like we have the Tata Group, which is concentrating on community development and ethical leadership. There is also Ben and Jerry's company, which is committed to social causes and product integrity. Now, different groups have different responsibility towards the society. Now, when we are talking about social responsibility, the social responsibility cannot be one. Social responsibility cannot be one community. There are different groups, and different groups are responsible to undertake different types of activities. So, when we are talking about social responsibility of businesses, we are talking about social responsibility towards different groups. So first important thing that we have to take into consideration is the dual role of business. What is this dual role of business? One is earning the profit, simultaneously also providing the benefit to the society, not at the cost of hampering the society. So when we are talking about social responsibility towards different groups, the first important aspect that we will be discussing is the dual role of business, wherein the need to make a fair rate on capital has to be maintained. If I am investing money, I should get return out of it. Another aspect is it must also be just. It should be done in a just manner. It should be done in a human manner, and it should be efficient, and it should be dynamic. So the complexity of balancing multiple responsibility has to be there. So when we are talking about social responsibility towards different groups, we are talking about the dual role of business. That simultaneously, when you are undertaking the business, you can't also avoid the society at large. In fact, you have to interconnect with each other to undertake the job. Next is we have different important many responsibilities of businesses. The first important responsibility is the responsibility to itself. When we are talking about responsibility to itself, we are talking about how a company can ensure sustainability and efficiency. So unless and until I am true, I will not be in a position to give fair judgment. This is one example. Unless and until I am true and clear that I am doing a right thing, I will not be in a position to judge others. So first and very important responsibility to ourselves is the ensuring that the business or the company is going in the line of sustainability and efficiency. There should be continuous self-improvement. There should be continuous self-improvement in the process and management, so that new things can be incorporated in the businesses and our business is being accepted in the long run. So when we are talking about the different important responsibilities of business, the first important responsibility is the responsibility to the self, that we should first assure ourselves that we are contributing positively towards the society. Next important responsibility is the responsibility to the customers, that is we are providing quality products and services to our customers. That is, we are ensuring that my customer is satisfied and I am incorporating ethical measures in consumer relations. Because if you are not ethical, each time you feel that there might be some problem. But if you are ethical, whatever might be the scenario, you can get out of it very effectively. So next important responsibility is the responsibility towards the customers. Next is the responsibility of the employees. When we are talking about the responsibility of the employees, it's a very important and a vital aspect. So when we talk about the responsibility of the customers, we need to talk about providing quality products and services. That is providing when we are talking about responsibility to employees, we are talking about the fact that we need to ensure fair wages to the employees, employment that is being provided to the employees is secure, and there is equal opportunities for growth for all the employees. So there should not be any hindrances in the undertaking of business. So when we are talking about responsibility to employees, first and very important thing is we need to ensure that fair wages are provided, there is security of employment, and equal opportunities for growth is being provided. Next important aspect is we need to maintain a just work environment and promoting personal and professional development. Why personal development? Because whatever work you do, if you are not developed from inside, if you are not recognizing yourself, then obviously after a certain period of time, you feel that you are doing an unnecessary job. So when we are talking about responsibility to employees, the first and very important thing is you have to ensure that you are providing fair wages, you are providing security to the employment of the employees, and equal opportunities for growth. Second is we need to maintain a just work environment and promote personal and professional development. Next important aspect is the responsibility to owners, to the shareholders of the businesses, and to partners. So we can get return if we are delegating the tasks. So maximum return on investment can only be done while we are maintaining ethical standards. So if we are going for maintaining ethical standards, our investment will be less day by day and our production will be more day by day. Next important aspect is one need to ensure transparency and accountability in the financial practices, because where from this is coming, it is coming from the fact that if you are investing, you get a return, and all of these transactions has to be transparent, and you need to be accountable of the business practices that you follow, and this will in general give rise to benefit of the company or of the business at large. There are many other responsibilities of business, like say we have responsibility to the community. When we are talking about the responsibility to the community, we are engaging in local community through social contribution. We are supporting education, civil responsibilities, and improving the quality of life. When we're talking about responsibility to the state, when we're talking about the state, we are adhering ourselves to the laws and the regulations, because if we are not following any laws and regulations are nothing but the norm of undertaking the business. So if the things are not done in a proper order, all the things will be in a chaotic manner, and people will not understand what they need to do, what they do not need to do. So it is the response. We one need to understand the responsibility of the state. The first important responsibility of the state is adhering to laws and regulations. Second is one need to contribute towards the economic development of the nation through ethical business operations. Now, in all of these aspects, one of the important person that plays a very important role is the management. So what is the task of the management? Task of the management is to reconcile and harmonize these responsibilities such that it can balance between the profitability and with employee welfare, customer satisfaction, and community engagement. One need to go for addressing the conflict. When we are talking about the management's involvement also take place when there is a conflict of interest between the different stakeholders. Now this is just a picture that we have got from our book, wherein it describes how this business social what is the process of business social responsibilities towards different groups. When we're talking about business firms responsibilities, we take into consideration three important aspects. That is the firm's responsibility towards its owners or towards its shareholders, firm's responsibility towards its employees who are working in the organization, firm's responsibility towards the customers who are buying their product. So here, when we are talking about responsibility towards the owners or the shareholders, we are talking about the fair dividend. We see that solvent and an efficient business is being undertaken. There is optimum use of resources, and the growth is planned. This is the firm's business responsibility towards its owners or towards its shareholders. Now, what is his responsibility towards the employees? That they do a meaningful work. There is job satisfaction among the employees. There is fairness of salaries and benefit, and the best quality of work life is being maintained. Next, coming to the firm's responsibility towards the customers will be a fair price is maintained, superior quality is being maintained, some superior services is being provided to its customer, and there is superior product design. So when we are talking about responsibility towards owners or shareholders, we are talking of the fact that there should be effective communication. When we are talking about is the responsibility toward the employees, we are talking about succession planning and development. When we are talking about firm's responsibility towards customer, we are talking about customer means you have to provide them the information then and there. That is, there is quick and complete information of whatever is being wanted. So when we are talking about this effective communication, we are talking about succession planning and development. We are talking about quick and complete information. We are talking about its influence towards the government, its influence towards the society, its influence towards the inter-business activities. So when we're talking about influence towards the society, that means it is providing you that whenever you are going for this social responsibility, your first important responsibility towards the government is you need to pay your taxes in time. The custom that there should be, people should understand what basically is custom duties, and they should provide them with that. The people should abide by the laws. The people should observe the policies, and there should be maintenance of law and security. Next important element is the contribution towards the society. That is, you are providing the people with employment. There is no discrimination among the people. There is employment to disadvantaged persons. They're providing community welfare services. There is business morality. There is maintaining pollution and environment. And the last very important thing is maintaining the ecological balance. Now coming to the third important aspect, that is his responsibility towards the inter-business, is a fair competition has to be undertaken between all the parties who are involved. There should be cooperation for sharing of scarce resources and facilities, because when we are talking about the scarce resources, we are talking about limitations in using the resources. That has to be kept in our mind. Third important aspect is there should be collaboration for maximization of business efficiency. Collaboration for maximization of business efficiency. So this is the chart, or this is the table which is giving you the picture how business responsibilities are there towards the different groups. When we are talking about the groups, we are talking about the owners or the shareholders. We are talking about the employees who are working in the customer, and we are talking about the services that we are providing towards our customers. Okay. Now coming to the role of freedom in social responsibility. Now there are certain things which has to be done with law, with strict vigilance on whatever we do. But the business responsibility thrives best in an atmosphere when freedom is being given with minimal restraints. There is the need to guard against monopoly is there, and encourage healthy competition is also there. There is efficient use of resources. What are the resources? Both human resources and capital resources, and it is the foundation of socially responsible business practices. Next important freedom that we can discuss is on the human resources and justice. When we are talking about human resources and justice, we are talking about the management's responsibility. It is suggesting that one should provide security to the employment. There should be fair wages to be given to all the people. And when we are talking about fair wages, we are saying that there should not be any disturbance. So there should be fair wages, and there should be equal opportunity for growth. So next important aspect that we have to take into consideration of management's philosophy is we need to promote justice within the organization such that it can act as a means for securing efficient management. There are different important key stakeholders in business responsibility. When I talk about the key stakeholders, I talk about enterprise, I talk about shareholders, I talk about workers, I talk about customers, I talk about management, I talk about community. So when we're talking about the key stakeholders who are responsible for undertaking the businesses well, the first one is the enterprises. That is, we need to go for efficient use of resources and fair employment practices. Second is that there should be fair return on investment. Third is the worker should get fair treatment and opportunities for growth. Next is there should be the high quality products and ethical customer. There should be high quality products, or you may say that manufacturing of high quality products and ethical consumer practices need to be followed. Next is we have the management, where there is reconciling of the interests, because different people have different interests, different mindsets, different way of talking. Next is there is community. Community means there is engagement and contribution to social welfare. So there are different to social welfare. So in general, when we are discussing about the duties between the business and community, we are talking about the reciprocal relationship, that is a two-way relationship between business and communities, wherein both are mutually benefited and both support each other. When we are talking about the practical measures, we are discussing on the point that there is reliable communication, education on civil responsibilities, local meetings, and social audits. The practical measures that are being taken into consideration for social responsibility include, the first and very important thing is communication has to be strong and reliable. So first important measure for social responsibility of business is reliable communication. That is, a transparency need to be maintained between the business and its stakeholders so that there is no scope of complaining. Second is the education on civil responsibility has to be provided to the people to whom you are going to deliver, because if the people don't understand for what you are there, the entire process will be in a soup. So we need to ensure that citizens are aware of their rights and rights and duties. Next is the social audit. When we are talking about social audit, there should be, it is suggesting that there should be regular audits in between to assess the impact of the business activities on society. So in general, in conclusion, it is said that the modern business must balance with the multiple responsibilities while ensuring that it remains efficient, dynamic, and just. So the role of management is pivotal in harmonizing these responsibilities, ensuring that businesses remain ethical and contribute positively to society. Now we'll discuss about social audit. When we are talking about social audit, it is a systematic assessment, and in the previous chapter also we had discussed about what basically is social audit. So you have a picture. So it is basically considered as a systematic assessment and reporting of a company's activities that is going to impact the society. So here the focus is on measuring, the focus is on monitoring, focus is on evaluating the CSR programs. So there are different important people who has given or put forward a different important definitions of social audit. The first one is the Borer and the Fain's definition. According to this definition, it is suggesting that social audit is a commitment to systematic assessment of and reporting of some meaningful, definable domain of a company's activities that have social impact. So here the emphasis is on assessing and reporting on CSR. Next important definition is being given by Delays, wherein it suggests that social audit is an investigation of an enterprise performance as a member of the community, that is inventorying socially. So the relevant activities and quantifying, there is relevant activities and quantifying their social cost and benefit. So here the emphasis is on inventory and qualification of the social activities that you undertake. Next important definition is being given by Carroll and Baylor, where it suggests that social audit is a managerial effort. Social responsibility is a managerial effort to gauge a firm socially oriented activities. And so here the emphasis is on social audit as a form of measurement to evaluate a company's social programs and objectives. Now, what are the features of this social audit? The first important feature is there is a broad impact area, that is the activities affecting the environment, quality, consumerism, opportunities for women and other disadvantaged group. Second important feature of social audit is it is a process oriented audit. The social audit evaluates what a company is doing, not the outcomes of this company, because what the company is doing is very important than what the company is doing is very important than what is the outcome of that particular event. So focus of process audit with no not on end results include challenges in auditing. There is a challenges in auditing social performance. When we are talking about challenges in auditing social performance, we are talking about difficulty in tracking the results of the social activities beyond the company's gate, beyond the results of social activities beyond the difficult to track the results of the social activities which is beyond the company's gate. So even if the data is available, attribution of the social impact to specific company actions can be difficult. But in India, there are different important situations where this audit is being done. For example, we'll discuss about Tisco. This company is the first social audit which is being done in India and is conducted by Tisco under the chairmanship of Justice S.P. Kotwal. Now that they are tasked with evaluating how well the TISCO can fulfill its social obligations and moral responsibilities to consumers, to employees, to shareholders, and to the community. Outcome is the committed confirmed that TISCO met its obligations. Now, when we are talking about social audit in India, we need to discuss about the disclosure of information. We are discussing about public and private sector companies are engaging or are encouraged to disclose the social responsibility of data for use by. What are they? The financial institutions and creditors interested in financial health and debt buying capacity. Second is shareholders, academic institutions and consultants, wherein we focus on resource allocation. The government that uses the data for planning and economic policies implementation. The trade union and political leaders for labor policy and decisions. Environmentalists who are there to monitor the air and water pollution, ecological balance, resource depletion, and energy conservation. So there are different important key stakeholders in social audit. One is the financial institution. Second is the government. Third is the shareholder. Fourth is the trade union. Fifth is the environmentalist. When we are talking about financial institution, we are assessing the financial stability of the company and the social investment. When we are talking about the government, we are talking about how the government is using a vast data for regulatory and economic policy making. When we're talking about the shareholders, we're talking about their interest on how the resources could be used or utilized socially and financially. When we're talking about the trade unions, we need to discuss on how to monitor the labor relations and welfare such that they can contribute positively towards the organization. Next is we discuss on about the environmentalist, where the focus is on pollution, focus is on resource depletion, and focus is on sustainability efforts to make the business sustainable. So social audit is evolving as a process for measuring the CSR. Though it is a challenging job, social audit also promotes accountability and transparency in business. And in India, the firms or the company like Tisco have set a precedented way of social audits, and the public sector companies are also encouraged to follow it. Now we discuss about the different important global guidelines to promote CSR practices. First is we need to understand what basically is CSR. When we are talking about CSR, we are integrating social responsibility along with the profit-oriented approach. So CSR is not just about compliance, it is investing in the socio-economic issues and improving the brand image of the company. When we're discussing about global CSR framework, we are finding out the point that there are several globally recognized guidelines, frameworks and principles that is governing CSR, and these frameworks are aligning with the broader concepts of sustainability and business responsibility. There is United Nations guidelines guiding principles on business and human rights. It is being incorporated in 2011, which is grounded in human rights and fundamental freedoms. It applies to all the businesses regardless of its size, sector or location. Its emphasis is on remedies where obligations are breached. Next is we have the United Nations Global Compact. It is the world's largest corporate citizenship initiative. It has 10 principles covering the areas like say we have the human rights, environmental protection, labor rights, anti-corruption. Next we have the ILO, that is the International Labour Organization. In it, we discuss about the tripartite declaration of 2017. It provides the direct guidance to the enterprises on various social policies and inclusive responsible workplace practices, and it is primarily applicable to the MNCs. Next is we have the OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises, which was being incorporated in 1976. It has pioneered for the CSR for multinational enterprises. So here the focus is on improving the investment climate and contributing towards the economic and social progress. Next is we have the social accountability and standards. There is this Institute for Social and Ethical Accountability, where the standards to help the organizations become accountable, responsible, and sustainable is taken into consideration. So the OECD CSR policy tool assesses the CSR activities for value and improvement. So another important aspect is the social value of UK and SGAP. The social value for UK is the framework that is based on social, generally accepted accounting principles. It aims to manage and understand the social, economic, and environmental outcomes created by the organization. Next is we have the transparency that has to be maintained in CSR reporting. That because transparency is crucial for economic, social, and environmental accountability. Incentives such as employee benefits will encourage CSR reporting. For example, Malaysia's 2007 regulation is requiring public listed companies to publish CSR reports. And when we are talking about CSR in India, it is rapidly evolved in India, which is aligning with the national priorities. Like say we have the public health, education, livelihood, water conservation, and resource management. So companies are contributing towards the nation building through strategic CSR initiative. This is all about this particular unit. Thank you and hope you have enjoyed learning. Thank you so much. Go to chapter 3.